What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. In this one, I'm going to be going through all the categories for this year's Oscars, and I'm going to be giving you my official predictions and my picks. Yes, those are going to be two separate things. I'll tell you about that in a second. For the 96th Academy Awards, which the ceremony is this Sunday evening. I'm recording this on the Thursday prior to Thursday, March 7th, I believe is today's date. Yep. You're either seeing it today on Thursday, March 7th, or hopefully by Friday, March 8th. Hopefully it didn't take me until the 9th to get it edited. If it did, oh well, that's at least still before the Oscars, right? I am extremely excited about this video. I have been looking forward to it since I did my Oscars prediction video last year. I did it last year. I should have gone back and seen what my track record was for last year, but I didn't. I'm sure it probably was not great though. But I'm going to be going through this year's Oscar categories. I'll be telling you my prediction, which is what I think is going to win. But then I'm going to tell you my pick, which is what, if I had a vote in the Academy, this is where those votes would be going to. I'll tell you that as well. And I'll tell you why. I'll break down some of the movies real quick here as we go. I was able to, this was a pretty daunting task for me. When the Oscar nominees were announced about a month and a half ago, I went on a quest to watch as many of them as I possibly could. And right now I'm going to be showing you right here a note that I made in my phone of all of the nominees in all the different categories and checked them off as I watched each and every one. I had another note that told me all the different movies, because I know it's like this is each category, so there's a lot of repeats. It was just one movie. Every movie's on there once. I had where I could find it. Some of these movies I was genuinely checking online daily to see if there was an update, and I just was not able to do that. I had a lot going on. I was not able to watch a couple of them. I also decided to make it even harder on myself, to do something I did not do last year, which was do every category, including the documentaries and short film categories. Those are the ones that are the most lacking. There was a few that I was not able to watch in almost all of those categories. And then in all of the other categories, though, there was only two movies that I was not able to watch. One in the Best Animated Feature category, The Boy and the Heron, which I do really hope to watch when I get the chance to. And then the other one in the Best International Feature category is The Teacher's Lounge. Those are the two films I was not able to watch, other than the documentaries and short films, which I'll do those first, because those are the fun ones that everyone is, I know, the most curious about. What else can I say? Like I said, I'm just going to be giving my reviews and opinions on a lot of these. Not reviews, but my opinions and thoughts on a lot of these. And then I will also just be telling you whatever else popped into my head as we go. I was extremely excited for this, like I said, since last year. I'm excited to do it again next year. The Oscars have become like my big event of the year that I'm looking forward to. I was messing around with my family last night. I told them, like, this is my Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was cool. I like football. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. I had a good time watching that, but I've been looking more forward to the Oscars. I've been looking forward to them for a year now, especially seeing films this year. Some of these films I was able to go see in the theaters before the nominees were even announced, and that was cool. Just gotten really into film over the last year and a half or so, and so that's just been really fun getting to experience that. I'll be honest with you, I was like 15 minutes into recording this video and was just not happy with how I felt like it was turning out. So I went downstairs and I was like, you know what is going to bring more energy to me, make this video I think better, is I'm going to go put a turtleneck on and I'm going to go put a jacket on. I accidentally woke my wife up from her nap to do so I'm sorry about that, babe, even though you're probably not watching this, because I know you're tired of hearing me talk about the Oscars, and she's going to watch them with me on Sunday, so I'll get to tell her all my picks then. But I was able to ask her which suit jacket I should wear, so it was really for the benefit. And, I'm glad I'm getting another use out of this wedding jacket. So, anyways, I'm extremely excited for this. I hope you're excited. I know it's probably going to be a long video. You already know how long it is because you clicked on it and you can see right there at the bottom. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm expecting it to be a little longer than my normal videos have been, because, like I said, this is my big thing now, apparently. So, I also just want to say this real quick. I'm not sure when it'll be published. I don't think it'll be published when this video is out. If it is, I'll have it linked down below. If not, I just want to go ahead and mention it. I'm starting a blog where I'm talking about films. I'll be reviewing them, making different lists, just fun little articles, things like that. And when that's published, I'm hoping it'll be sometime next week. I just have a lot going on right now, so it'll kind of depend on that. But it could be sometime next week. I will make sure to talk about it on my next video, and also I'll do one of the little community posts for if I have any subscribers that watch or anything like that, that anybody that really cares. I'll also post about it on my social media. Just if you're interested in that, I just want to throw that out there. I assume if you're watching this video, you either really like film, really like me, or are confused how you're even here. If you fit into any of those categories, I think that you would enjoy that blog. So I'll keep you posted on that. So let's get into these awards. I've already been talking for 6 minutes and haven't even talked about a single award. So the first award, I'm kind of doing these in a somewhat random order. Obviously, I saved the big ones. Every Oscar is equal, I'll say that. So I'm not trying to belittle anyone here, but the big 5 categories for the end. And let's just get into the Oscars with the Best Documentary Feature Film. I was able to watch 3 of the nominees for this film, and the nominees are Bobi Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, Four Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, and 20 Days in Mariupol. I was not able to find or watch Four Daughters or To Kill a Tiger. To Kill a Tiger, I know for a fact, is getting added to Netflix tomorrow, but I really wanted to get this video out today, so I may go watch that. And if so, I'll probably put a review on my blog so you can go watch there. Four Daughters, I was only able to find to rent it. And I'll be honest, I know I said I was doing the documentary feature films, but I was not going to go necessarily out of my way and spend extra money to do that because I am cheap. So there's that. But if it gets added to a streaming service, I'll definitely watch it. With the 3 that I did watch, luckily my pick and my prediction both came from that. My prediction is going to be 20 Days in Mariupol. I think it's just an incredible film. I think it highlights a topic that I think most Americans, I don't want to say the Western civilization as a whole because I only live in America, but I think it's as a cause and something that's going on in the world that we talked about for a week and then kind of forgot about it. I'll admit, I'm not proud of this, but I'll admit I kind of forgot that the war with Russia and Ukraine was going on. It took a very back afterthought in my mind. So watching this film, I found it on YouTube, and I'm sure it's still there, was just incredibly convicting for me, just as something that is actively going on in the world, that was very prominent over the last year or 2 years. And so I think that is my prediction as the winner. However, my pick is going to be to Bobi Wine, The People's President. This is something that I had absolutely no idea was going on in the world because I'm not big into politics or world news. Obviously, if something is super internationally known, usually I'll know that and see that. But I did not know about the political state of Uganda, nor did I think I necessarily wanted to know about the political state of Uganda and all the things going on there. Then I watched his documentary. I thought it was absolutely fascinating, extremely informative. Also, it was pretty entertaining, so I would definitely recommend watching it. I found it on Disney Plus. I'm sure it's still there, but that's going to be my pick, is Bobi Wine, The People's President. Now, moving on to Best Documentary Short Film. The nominees are The ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, and Nene and Wai Po. I was able to watch all 5 of these nominees, and I think the winner will be The Last Repair Shop. It's a documentary that I watched I think I watched it on YouTube, but I believe it's on a streaming service now. Maybe Netflix is what it's on now. You can figure that out if you're curious to find it. It's a documentary about a repair shop that repairs instruments, the people that work there, the stories behind how they got into music and ended up there. I did think it was pretty fascinating. However, my pick would be The ABCs of Book Banning, something just because it's very prevalent and I think an important topic to learn about. I'm not going to say this is not a political video, and so that's not what this is about. I think it's interesting to learn about a topic, whatever side you fall on with it, and I think that the ABCs of Book Banning was something that was really interesting to me. Next, we have Best Live Action Short Film, and the nominees were The After, or the nominees are, I guess, The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I was able to watch The After, Night of Fortune, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I think that the winner should be, my pick is The After. I think both The After and Night of Fortune just incredibly captured grief and loss and dealing with those in different ways and how to handle that and coping. And I just thought they were both beautiful. However, I think the winner will be The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, even though I personally did not really enjoy this film. I thought it was pretty boring. I thought it was just a lot of monologues that were not necessarily even entertaining monologues. But I feel like Wes Anderson is a little bit of an Academy darling, and so I think that it may win. Now, for Best Animated Short Film, the nominees were Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, Pachyderm, and War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. I was able to watch 95 Senses, Our Uniform, and Pachyderm. However, none of those is actually what I think will win, just based off different articles I've read, things I've seen online, the reviews of this film. I think War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, that's a long title, will win just because of what it's about and who it's about and different things like that. I think people enjoyed it. I personally was not able to find it to tell you whether or not I think it should win. But of the movies I watched, my pick is definitely 95 Senses. I watched this. I thought it was utterly amazing. I thought it was fantastic. You can find it online. I think you should go watch it. I came home that day and had my wife watch it with me. I just thought it was so good. Now, we're going to be moving on to the categories for feature-length films, starting with Best Cinematography, and the nominees are El Conde, which I watched that. I hope I may have just said that incorrectly. It's The Count. It's a movie about a vampire. I'll tell you that. I remember what it is. I just don't remember how to say that, and I am rusty on my Spanish. Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. So I'm going to, since this is the first category, so this is the first time we're going to be talking about most of these movies, I will say some things about a few of them. First, El Conde. This is the only nomination that it got. I don't think it should have gotten a single nomination. I personally did not enjoy it. Didn't think it was very good. So I'll leave it at that. Not my winner, so it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to talk about Poor Things, a film that I watched today. It is nominated for 11 categories, and spoiler, I do not have it winning in any of those categories, which I'm sure will not be the case, just because that would just be like shocking if it was nominated in 11 categories and does not win a single one. But I personally didn't have it winning, so I'll say I think it will win one of the categories. I wasn't sure which one to give it. Now, Oppenheimer, on the other hand, is nominated for 13 categories, and another spoiler for the rest of this video, I have it winning a lot, not all 13, but a lot of Oscars in this ceremony. And Best Cinematography is one of those. I thought the cinematography in this film was spectacular. I'm going to look up, I won't list all the winners on all of them, but I will tell you the cinematographer of the winner is, that my winner, Oppenheimer, is Hoyt van Hoytma, which also awesome name, so I'm glad I looked that up. Shout out to you, Hoyt van Hoytma. That's a sick name. But I think Oppenheimer won Best Cinematography. I think it's an incredibly well shot film, and I watched it in theaters the day after it came out, and I rewatched it on my phone, which is, I know, a no-no from Christopher Nolan. But that's a whole nother topic of movies being watched on phones and different things like that. I personally think that it's fine, and that's okay. I'll stand on that. But anyways, Oppenheimer, I think, will win the Best Cinematography Oscar. Moving on to Best Film Editing, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. That's right, I did the double and because I accidentally messed up my reading. Again, I think Oppenheimer is going to take this one home. I think it's a well-shot film. I think it's an extremely well-edited film. I think it is just a darn near perfect movie. I think that it's one of the best movies that has come out in a long time. And I think most people agree with that, which is why a 3 hour long R-rated biopic, yes, I say biopic instead of biopic, about the father of the atomic bomb was one of the highest grossing movies of 2023, and also one of the biggest cultural phenomenons of a movie that I remember in a long time. And I have it going 2 for 2 on these first two categories. Next up, we have Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and the nominees are Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. So Golda, this is its only nomination. I thought it was fine. Obviously, it's got nominated for makeup and hairstyling, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a good movie. It just has to have good makeup and hairstyling, which I thought it did. It was good. Society of the Snow. This is one of 2 nominations. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. My best international feature when we get to that category. But I thought it was fantastic. I think the winner of this will be Maestro, just because Bradley Cooper, the work that they did on him when the makeup and hairstyling chairs were just fantastic, and I think that alone should get to take it home. I think it's more impressive, which all of these movies other than Poor Things do, is when it's based on real people and real events, having to make your characters look like them, and I think Maestro did it perfectly with all the work they did on Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein. I think their other characters were great as well, but obviously the work they did on him is the reason that they're nominated here. And I'll say I would not be shocked if this is the one that Poor Things took home, and I think that would be just fine if that's the case. Sorry, I don't know if you've seen me. I don't know where my screen is at here, but I'm sure you can see my hand. I have like a bug bite or something on my hand that I just now noticed, and I also think I might have ADHD based on this interaction that we're having right now. Moving on to Best Costume Design. The nominees are Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And before I tell you my winner and pick, I actually want to read you the nominees for Best Production Design because they're the exact same. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think that Barbie should and will take both of these categories. Like I said, I think it's incredibly impressive when it's based on real figures or a real figure. And so you have real people, real events, real places taking place. And I think so Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer all did really well in that. I'll say Napoleon, I thought it was a pretty bad movie. I'm going to say that right now. It only got 3 nominations, and it was for 3 of the awards that you don't necessarily have to have a good film for. That's no disrespect to anyone involved in the film. That's just my thoughts on it. Poor Things, I think the costume, production, all of the visual sides of it, the makeup and the hairstyling, things like that, were really well done. Those were enjoyable. The movie as a whole, though, I personally did not enjoy. I thought it was pretty bad. I actually watched it this morning, so it's pretty fresh, and it didn't make me laugh. It didn't make me feel really any type of way other than bored, and I just kept checking to see when it was going to be over. I'm going to be honest. And if that makes you lose respect for me as a film reviewer and whatever else I may be, then I'm sorry, but that's okay. That's just my opinion. But I think Barbie should win both of these. I think the costumes for Barbie are going to go down as the most iconic out of any of these, which I think speaks for itself. I think there's so many different costumes. Oh my goodness, throughout that film, pretty much, there's really not a repeat costume throughout a scene. And I just think that's so well done. And the production specifically in Barbie Land is just, the set design on that was just beautiful. And I think that it should take home both of these categories. Next up, we have Best Visual Effects. And the nominees are The Creator, Godzilla Minus One, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. I saw all of these films, a couple of them, yes, I saw in theaters, which really helps with the visual effects side. And here's what I'll say. I think this is a fun category because movies that I typically will like can be nominated. I love superhero movies. I love action movies, sci-fi movies. I love nerd movies. How about that? And these are usually where I'll get nominations. And I think all of these movies are well deserving. I think the winner will be, my prediction is The Creator, just for all the different characters in that, and is Alfie, is that's the kid, and just all the other different robots, the things on the side of their head, the ones that were entirely robots, everything. It was just a beautifully stunning film. I watched it on this giant TV right here to help instead of on my phone or on my laptop, just because I figured that would help. But I think the creator probably did have the best visual effects, but I'm not going to make that my winner, which you're probably confused by. My winner is going to be Godzilla minus one, and this is solely for off principle, okay? And I'll tell you why. The budget for these films, the budget for the creator was a modest $80 million. The budget for Napoleon was between $130 and $200 million. The budget for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was $250 million. And the budget for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was between $219 and $291 million. The budget for Godzilla Minus One was between $10 and $12 million. So around 8 times less than the lowest of those other four, which is just how the movie was able to look. With that being taken into account, is just jaw-dropping to me in this day and age in 2024. I know it came out in 2023, but in the 21st century, in the 2020s, the fact that that was the budget for this movie and it was able to look that good is so impressive, and I think it should win based solely off that. Now, we're going to go to Best Original Score, and the nominees are American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I was able to see all of these movies. I will talk about American Fiction more. I'll probably talk about a lot of these movies more when we get to Best Picture and all that stuff. But I thought it was fantastic. I saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny in theaters. I thought it was fine. The score was great. It's not my winner, but I do want to shout out John Williams, who the greatest film composer of all time, with his 54th Oscar nomination here. My winner, however, is going to go to Oppenheimer. That's Ludwig Göransson is the composer on that film. I thought he did a great job, especially after knowing that it was nominated for its score. When I rewatched it, I listened specifically for that, and I think it should be the winner here. Now, we go to Best Original Song, which I think is such a fun category because just getting to see them performed at the Oscars is so fun. And the nominees are The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot, which is the 16th nomination for songwriter Diane Warren. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony. Wazazi, A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon. And What Was I Made For from Barbie. I think this is easily going to and should win is What Was I Made For from Barbie. I think it just won not just the Grammys were like a month ago. I think it won the Grammy for Best Song of the Year, not from a movie, just in general, which is just crazy. I think it should win here. I think it's far and away the best song here. Although I will say that I'm more excited for the performance of I'm Just Ken from Barbie. I know some people have been getting upset with that Ryan Gosling has been getting most of the attention for Barbie, which I think is fair, and I understand that. But I don't think you should necessarily crap on him and diminish what he did just because Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie aren't getting as much praise as maybe they should. I don't think that should take away from him. Now, I will say also, I watched the Flamin' Hot movie and American Symphony, the documentary that I'm not sure why it didn't get nominated for Best Documentary about John Baptiste and his crazy Grammy night. I watched both of them just for a movie that was going to play during the credits. And I want to tell you something. I'm going to get on a soapbox real quick. And I think that the song should have to be featured in the film, not in the credits. I think it should have to be featured in the film. I'm not saying the characters need to sing it. I'm not like the other movies. I was watching the movies anyways, so I didn't really care where the songs were. But I wanted to do my due diligence. I didn't want to just listen to these songs out of context. So I watched the movies. I'm glad I watched the movies. I enjoyed both of them. I thought Flamin' Hot was funny and cool for what it was. It was good. And American Symphony, I thought it taught me about John Baptiste, who I literally knew nothing about. He was cool. I think it should have gotten a Best Documentary nomination, like I said. But that was just really frustrating, and I don't think that should be the case. Anyways, moving on to Best Sound. And the nominees were The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and The Zone of Interest. I want to shout out Maestro just for being in this category for a completely different reason than all the rest. The reason it was nominated for Best Sound was because of the music, but not the score, because the music was being played live. I know specifically in that one scene where Bradley Cooper was actually conducting, that's fantastic on his part, as the director and as the actor doing it, fantastic. The creator, like I said, there's a giant TV right here. I'm in my in-laws home right now, and there's a giant TV right here. I watched the creator on it. It also has surround sound, and so I was able to really get the full experience here. But I think the winner will once again be Oppenheimer, and I'm so sorry if I'm boring you with all the Oppenheimer love here. But I just think the sound throughout the movie is great, but specifically in the scene, of course, with the Trinity test, where it's silent, and then just boom, explosion. I just thought, oh my gosh, I just thought that was great, and I think it should win here, and will win. Now, Best International Feature. The nominees are Io Capitano, Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, The Teacher's Lounge, and The Zone of Interest. So I mentioned earlier, The Teacher's Lounge is one of the films that I was not able to watch. I'm so sorry. That I was not able to watch, but I was able to watch the other four. I'll just say it real quick. The winner will be, and probably, I'm not going to say it should be, but I think it will be The Zone of Interest. I mean, it got a Best Picture nomination. Also, I think it's wild that Anatomy of a Fall was not nominated, and I know it's just for very political reasons from the country of France. I don't know why I didn't say that with more confidence, that they didn't even get put up by France as their nominee, but whatever. That's just so funny to me that it's nominated for Best Picture and not Best International. But I'll say my two big surprises here were Io Capitano. I watched it the other day, and I thought that it was an incredible film. I think the main characters were really well portrayed, and I really enjoyed that film. It's about immigration in Africa and traveling, trying to get, I don't remember what country they started out in, to Europe, and it was just a great film, very heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching film. Let me take a drink of water real quick. I'm sorry. Okay. And the other one I want to shout out was Society of the Snow, which I gave a perfect 10 out of 10 when I rated it on Letterboxd, just because, oh my God. Or, I'm sorry, Letterboxd is only out of 5. In my head, I do them out of 10. And so I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, so 10 out of 10. But I thought it was so good. The characters were all great. The dynamics were all great. The makeup was great. It got nominated for. I think it really should have gotten another nomination here because I do think it was one of the best films of last year. But Society of the Snow, I'm going to make that my pick, even though my prediction is The Zone of Interest. Best Animated Feature, which is the category that I have the most quarrel with this year. And if you've watched any of my recent videos, you know that I am absolutely devastated and peeved that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem was not nominated. That was my favorite movie from last year. I don't think it should have won or will have won, but it was my favorite movie from last year. My personal favorite, not the best animated movie last year, not the best movie from last year, but my favorite. And the nominees are not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, but they are The Boy and the Heron, which I mentioned I was not able to watch, but I definitely will when I get the chance. Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There's going to be a review of Robot Dreams on my blog whenever that comes out, so you can stay tuned for that. But the main movie I want to talk about here is the one that should, will, and will be robbed if it does not win, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's Spider-Man's category to lose. I have seen some buzz about The Boy and the Heron. Obviously, I was not able to watch it, so I can't comment on that. But I just don't see it being better than Across the Spider-Verse. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think this is its category. Now, for Best Adapted Screenplay, the nominees are American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Now, real quick, let me say this. I think it is absolutely and utterly asinine that Barbie is in this category. It should be in the Best Original Screenplay category. I understand that Barbie was already a creation, that it is a real thing, that it is a toy in Mattel, but it's that the characters from Barbie are based on a doll, and that's it. The dolls don't have any writing, they don't have any character, they don't have any lines, they don't have any lore other than the fact that they are a doll. And that's not me crapping on Barbie the doll. That's me saying how well written this film is, and that not that the original screenplays are necessarily more impressive or more well written, but I just think that it's really miscategorized here. Like for my example is Maestro is based on a true story, based on a real person. May December, it's based on a real person, even though at first they said it wasn't. It's based on a real person, based on a real story. Barbie is just based on a character that was already made but has no pre-existing story. I know there's the Barbie movies like that people have been watching recently just for fun, of like the animated ones, but like this movie is not based on those movies. And so I think it's silly that it's in this category. That being said, I think that the winner of this category, you thought I was about to say Oppenheimer again, didn't you? Nope. I think it should be American Fiction. I think this film was brilliantly written by Cord Jefferson. I think it is utterly hilarious. I went and saw it with my father-in-law, JJ, in the theater, and we were both cackling the whole time. I think it touches on a subject matter, most of these films do, but a subject matter that is not easy to write about, or at least wouldn't be for me. But I think that Cord Jefferson did a wonderful job putting it to paper, and the actors did a great job delivering the dialogue that he wrote for them. And so that is my pick and my prediction, American Fiction. Now for Best Original Screenplay, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. So I think my prediction is going to be that Anatomy of a Fall will win. That's my prediction. However, my pick has got to be The Holdovers. This movie, I've talked about a lot of movies that I loved. American Fiction, I loved. Society of the Snow, I loved. And I'm talking about movies that I watched specifically for this, like Barbie, Oppenheimer, I loved. But I had already seen those. Killers of the Flower Moon, I went and saw that in the theaters before the Oscars were announced, and I was watching that just to go enjoy a movie. But I really think The Holdovers is my big surprise of watching these Oscar-nominated movies, because it is such a wonderful film, and it is such a wonderfully written film, and I think it should take home this award, and it's going to take home another award here in just a second. Now, the nominees are for Best Supporting Actress: Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer; Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple; America Ferrera, Barbie; Jodie Foster, Nyad; and Da'Vine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. And yes, I think it should go to Da'Vine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I believe up to this point she has swept all the big awards, the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, all those, the big awards. I believe she swept those to this point, and I think she's going to continue that streak through the Oscars. I think she was utterly brilliant in this film. She is my pick as well as my prediction. I think Emily Blunt, prior to seeing The Holdovers, Emily Blunt would have been my pick, but after seeing The Holdovers, I have to give it to Miss Da'Vine Joy Randolph here. And now, moving to Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction; Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon; Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer; Ryan Gosling, Barbie; and Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Guys, I really wish that I could come right here right now and tell you that Ryan Gosling was going to win, or I thought he should win for Barbie, because that is one of my favorite portrayals in a movie ever. I loved it. I thought he was brilliant. I thought everyone in that film was so good. Everything about that film was great, but I thought Ryan Gosling was I don't want to say he was the breakout star, because it's Ryan Gosling. He's not breaking out. He's been famous for a long time now, and people have known he's a good actor for a long time now, but he was just he was the highlight of that film for me. However, similar to Miss Da'Vine Joy Randolph, I believe this man has swept these awards up to this point, and I think that the winner will and should be Mr. Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. As much as I would have loved to see Ryan Gosling win, I'm not sad to see Robert Downey Jr. Win. Like I said, I'm a big nerd, a big superhero guy. Obviously, I love Robert Downey Jr. I think everyone loves Robert Downey Jr. I think he deserves this award, and I think he will get it. So shout out to RDJ. Now, for Best Actress, the nominees are Annette Bening, Nyad; Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon; Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall; Carey Mulligan, Maestro; and Emma Stone, Poor Things. I know the two big snubs that everyone was talking about were Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig. I'm glad they both were able to get nominations in other categories. Greta Gerwig for writing Barbie, and Margot Robbie is one of the producers. I think Margot Robbie was the bigger snub than Greta Gerwig, and I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to be a hater. I think there were a couple actresses on here that she should have been in here over. However, I digress, and I don't think it matters because I think the winner should and will be Miss Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought that she was absolutely incredible in that film, and she played that part to as T, and here's how I'll word it. The two of the best actors of all time, probably in the top 10, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. I know this is not her first acting job, but this is her first major acting job in a major motion picture. And so to a lot of people, she's new. And compared to Robert Downey Jr. and Leonardo DiCaprio, she is fairly new. She held her own against those two screen giants just so well that I think that she deserves to take home this award. I've seen a lot of buzz for Emma Stone to get it. After watching Poor Things, this is no disrespect to Emma Stone. I think she's a phenomenal actress and one of the best actresses of the 21st century, if not the best. But I do not think she should be taking home this award on Sunday. I think it should be going to Lily Gladstone. Now, the nominees for Best Actor are Bradley Cooper, Maestro; Coleman Domingo, Rustin; Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers; Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer; and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. Come on, guys. Cillian Murphy is going to win this, and Cillian Murphy should win this. Oppenheimer was one of the most powerful performances that I have seen in a very long time. It was one of the most powerful films that I have seen in a very long time. Like I said, great film editing, great cinematography, great score, all these awards that it's won. But because of two people, the next one, who I'm going to talk about in just a second, spoilers, and Cillian Murphy. Oh my gosh, he was so good in that film, and I think he should absolutely be taking home this award. Yeah, Cillian Murphy, just give it to him now, please. And the nominees for Best Director are Justine Triet, Anatomy of a Fall; Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon; Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer; Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things; and Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest. I mean, I just hinted at it in my last one. I think Christopher Nolan is and should be taking this Oscar home. I think that Christopher Nolan is one of the best directors, especially to have not won an Oscar. And I think he's going to be leaving that category of directors that have not won Oscars on Sunday. I think that just this film, he has some fantastic films. This is not necessarily my favorite Nolan film. That will always be Interstellar, but I think this is his masterpiece. This is his Ninth Symphony. That's the one, right? That Beethoven. I don't know. I only watched Maestro. I haven't watched a movie about Beethoven, so I can only tell you about Leonard Bernstein. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I think that Christopher Nolan should be taking home this award, and I think he will. Now, I love that they expanded Best Picture to 10 movies because it was just that much more work for me, but also it was that much more rewarding when I watched Poor Things today and completed my gauntlet of watching all 10 of the Best Picture nominees. And they are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I'm going to talk about each of these movies real quick. I know we're 40 minutes in. I value your time and I appreciate you watching, so I won't take too long here, hopefully. American Fiction, fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I think it was extremely well written. Like I said, I think it was extremely well performed. Great food. Anatomy of a Fall, I thought was fine. And I understand why it was here. I personally didn't love it on an enjoyment level, but I understand why it was here. Barbie was my second favorite film of last year, behind Spider-Man behind Ninja Turtles, and I think it's well deserved to be here. I'm glad that it got the nomination, even though it's a silly, goofy movie about a couple dolls, and that is meant to be a joke about how that's not all that it is. Just so we're clear on that that is meant to be satire. The Holdovers, like I said, was my surprise of the year. I think everyone should watch this. I think technically it's a Christmas movie, so if you want to wait to watch it till Christmas, I understand that. I am really hoping that I can convince my wife to watch it this Christmas. It is on Peacock. Please go watch it. Killers of the Flower Moon. I went and saw this movie in theaters. I thought it was great. I thought the performances of Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Oscar winner Lily Gladstone were fantastic. Me saying that like Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio are not also Oscar winners. Maestro, I thought was pretty good. I think that it was well acted, well directed. I understand why it was here. Again, on an enjoyment level, I didn't love it. I enjoyed it more than a couple of the other movies on here. But I thought it was fine. I'm gonna skip Oppenheimer because I've talked about it a lot. Past Lives, I understand why it was here. I think there's a very high chance that it can win the best original screenplay, even though it wasn't my pick or my prediction. I think there's a very high chance, and I would not be surprised. I thought it was pretty stinking boring, I'm not going to lie, and I'm sorry. I can enjoy a movie that is mostly dialogue and that is doesn't have to have a bunch of action set pieces. I watched 12 Angry Men for the first time the other day. It's one of my favorite movies of all time now. I absolutely loved it. So I'm just trying to defend myself a little bit here. But I didn't love Past Lives. But again, I understand why it's here. Poor Things. Again, I understand why it's here. I did not like this movie. I didn't enjoy watching it, but it doesn't really matter because I don't think it's going to win. And The Zone of Interest. Again, this is one of, I guess there was 4 or 5 that I said that I didn't love enjoyment wise. But again, all of these, I understand why they're here. I don't really necessarily think there were any snubs in this category except for The Iron Claw, which is snubbed from the Oscars entirely and is an absolute travesty. But obviously, come on. Look back at all these awards. What name have I said the most is the winner? Who just won Best Director? That's right. It's going to Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer is going to clean up at the Oscars clearly. I think that this is a exercise that I really enjoyed doing and will greatly enjoy doing next year as well. That's right. I'm going to continue it even though it was a lot of work. And I don't know. I really enjoyed doing this. I'm extremely excited for this year's Oscars. And let me know if you've made it this far. Please comment so I know that, just because I'd love to hear that. And let me know some of your picks. You don't have to tell me every single category, but just tell me your big ones or ones that you feel the strongest about, just because I'd love to hear that. Stay tuned for that blog that's going to be coming soon, and I'm just going to keep asking you to do stuff to comment on my video and look at my blog. And next thing I'm going to ask you to do is, if you're not, please subscribe to this channel if you enjoy me and my content, and if not, I don't know, I guess just subscribe anyways. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm not gonna be upset at you if you don't, but it would be cool if you did. How about that? Anyways, this has been my official predictions for the Oscars of 2024, awarding movies of 2023, the 96th Academy Awards, coming to you on March 10th at 5 p.m. Central Time, which is where I live, so that's what I know, on ABC and Hulu. You like that plug right there? And I'll say it again, I won't say it. If you've made it this far, I want to know. And yeah, this has been the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Even if you didn't watch the whole thing, you're not going to know that I'm thanking you, but I'm still thankful that you watched, however much of it you did. Stay tuned for my next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Peace.